Good evening, everyone. Hopefully you can hear me now. I might come up muted. But it's Dan's All About Arsenal 1886. We're in for our live kind of preview. This is Arsenal versus Sunderland. So obviously anyone jumping in, join us, chat, comment. Let's talk all about Arsenal this evening. So we're going to be talking about obviously what we expect from the weekend. It's a huge weekend ahead, and what I want to see from kind of Arsenal, and obviously we've got Man City and Liverpool is the big game. There is a lot going on, so we'll go through. We're going to have a little preview as well, but we'll keep an eye on obviously on the chat who wants to get involved. Also trying to stream on TikTok as well at the same time. So while no one's in here, let me have a quick confirmation of age. There we go. But anyone here, let me know. This is going to look great when looking back later. But TikTok and all this at the same time is always fun and games. So date of birth in. But if you're jumping on, drop me a comment. We're going to be talking about the preview show again, say for the upcoming weekend, and we want to see what we get out of everything going on. I don't think TikTok's having any of it. So, but we will get into the preview show. We've obviously got some really good games actually coming up this weekend as well to discuss. And I want to get everyone's take. But we've got the early kickoff as well. So we've got Tottenham Hotspur versus Man United, which is going to be a good game. I think we did some predictions kind of between us at my work, kind of little group we've got going. And Tottenham at home against Man United, who have found some form. So it's going to be an interesting one there. From that side of things, I mean, a little prediction there. I think Tottenham might just walk away with it. Maybe like a cheeky 2-1, something like that. I do expect them to do it. Or it could be a draw. Everton Fulham, it's got kind of a draw all over it, I think, or a win for the home team. West Ham, some form last week, and playing Burnley, beat Newcastle last week. So could West Ham win again? That would be really, really interesting. But yeah, let us know your thoughts on that. But we do the Le Bon app on that from that side of things. And yeah, it's always a bit of fun at work. Chelsea Wolves, Chelsea walk that all day long. And then we obviously got the Arsenal Sunderland game at the 5:30 kickoff. So what's your thoughts? And good friend of mine, Josh, is in here. Hello, mate. Thank you for joining. Any questions, Josh, feel free to ping them in. Always welcome them, mate. And if you're not subscribed, people, just remember it helps out a very small early sort of channel. If you can subscribe, like, and follow is always much appreciated. But I've got a little kind of preview of kind of what my expected kind of 11 is coming up. And obviously, I'd love to know anyone's sort of thoughts and predictions for scoreline for the weekend, who you think is going to be sort of changes from obviously midweek. So I'm just going to pop this on and make my face smaller. So do remember to subscribe. And let's have a look at starting lineup. But to a certain extent, it kind of picks itself. But I'm interested in a couple of positions because where we've got so much depth, I think it's always important to kind of cover that. Mainly at left back at the moment, which is an interesting. We've got 3 really good players there who are kind of been rotating. What would your favourite be on that side of things as well? So, but Rayo's obviously going to be starting goal. Little question from Josh here as well. We're going to do it as we go because we've got loads of time. But thoughts on Jesus coming back into training and where he'll fit in once. I'm actually really excited about Jesus. I don't know if you've seen the little videos online of him. He looks quite sharp. Obviously, it's going to take a bit of time, actual game time for him to bed in, but I do think he will be a really good option for us. We've got a lot of people coming back all at once. I think I saw something today about the Tottenham game, obviously when we come back after the international break, and everyone's back basically, which we've got going to have a problem in picking who's going to start. Obviously, a lot of people are going to have to come back slowly, getting minutes and stuff like that. But I could say see Jesus getting some minutes. I think he's a different option for us off the bench. He's a much better dribbling than who we've got, up front at the moment. Gyökeres obviously is an absolute train and just runs, and he's a bit of a workhorse on that side. Obviously, Marino, realistically, he's probably stepping in. He's probably going to be up front this weekend. But then we've got Havertz coming back. And that's an interesting combination. Could you see them playing together? I think it could be a real good option as well. But I do think Jesus could be a man to come on the bench and just give a different option. So he could be a really interesting addition. And I remember when he was playing last before the knee injury, I saw him in the Champions League game, and he was blinding. I think he played slightly better in Europe than the Prem at the time. But that's when Havertz was pretty much in and knocking on the door, and it was a bit of a rotation between the two, but very different profile. He's a good player, but I think we'll find a place for him. I think he could be fighting to get back on the bench, but I think he's going to be softly getting back and not rushing back, because there is no rush. We do have depth to a certain extent. It just depends how everyone returns, and if this muscular injury that Gyökeres has is okay, obviously I think he'll come back and then start rotating with Havertz and Jesus. So interesting. But where do you think he'll fit, Josh? I'd be interested to see your take on it, mate, as well. But going back to preview for now. So yeah, obviously Raya and goal. Obviously, we've got the most solid midfield centre backs pairing as well, and I think pretty best in Europe, best in the world. These guys are relentless, and one of the reasons we've got this kind of clean sheet run, which is unbelievable. 8 clean sheets in a row. It's just mental. Obviously, we've matched this record, which was back from 1903, 122-year-old record, which is crazy, which is Arsenal's record anyway. But will be, I think it is, I did read as well. So if we basically don't concede in the next game, we will become the first English top flight side ever to win 9 consecutive matches in all competitions without conceding, while a 9th straight shutout would set a new club record. That's what we want. We want to just keep smashing records. Why not? But thanks, Josh. Appreciate you, mate, agreeing with everything I said on that side. So that's really good. So they're the two in the middle. I think obviously Jurriën Timber has just been unbelievable. So definitely be the man I would say is going to be on the right. Obviously Ben White's a solid option, but I think we're going to be finding that Timber's going to be starting this game on the right hand side. But then we have the problem with our left backs. So we've got these three. It's a bit of a problem. And obviously Calafiori has been playing the majority of games in the Prem. Rotated a little bit with Miles Lewis Skelly, so MLS. And Nkapie obviously started midweek against Slavia Prague. So 3 really good options, 3 different profiles. Nkapie, I think, again, a bit more physical, a bit more defensive. You've got Calafiori, he's just playing everywhere, to be fair. He's got very much freedom on that left-back role, but does work well with Trossard as well down that left-hand side. And MLS, obviously, with the driving kind of runs that, he done so well, that midweek game. Who was that against at the time? It was one of the Champions League games, but it was unbelievable. But yeah, Josh, I completely agree, mate. So Timber is the best right back in the world right now. He's just unbelievable. We're super lucky to have him. And imagine what the season would have been like when he had that injury and we had him out all season. He come back and it was a new signing, basically, wasn't it? But he is just been unbelievable. He's probably been, for me, maybe one of the players of the season, but we have got so many sort of options there as well. I think we've been really lucky in who we've got, who's playing, and really, really solid from that side. But out of interest, Josh, anyone else in the chat there, who would you go left back on this game? I'm expecting Calafiori, I'll be honest. But obviously Nkapie's just played a game. MLS, it could be, but I think I do think Calafiori will start. And yeah, thanks, Josh. I again agrees with us, and I think you found Arteta's kind of got comfortable with Calafiori being kind of starting left. Anyone else's thoughts? Let me know. You've got also the middle pairing back. So Zubimendi obviously was out midweek on the Champions League game because of the yellow card he had, so he was sort of banned from the midweek game. So he'll be back, and he's definitely a player I like in the midfield with Rice and that double kind of pivot. It does allow Rice to creep forward and be more like the 8 kind of role as well, which is great to see him and what he's been doing. And he had an unbelievable game last time out. I think everyone I'd spoken to praised him, and that was a great game. But he's just a horse, an engine, and he's an unbelievable player. Obviously, Zubimendi himself, he just keeps the tempo going, and he allows and frees up Rice to do kind of what Rice has been doing. And I mean, it's great. I was worried when we first took him on because he's not a physically big guy, but God, does he win the ball back and does he ping and keep the ball moving quite quickly and progressing the ball? So, like a lot of people have said, he's an upgrade on Partey, which I was genuinely worried about losing Partey. I always knew Zamini was a good player. I'd seen him, with Spain and stuff like that, but maybe not to the extent I've seen enough of him to be super comfortable with it. But he's been great for us, and again up there alongside Timber, I think with one of the players of the season so far. Again, look at Rice, what he's doing. He's just unreal. I think most of our set pieces at LA is from Rice as well. I mean, assist sort of king, and he's so accurate on every ball, and he's a real threat in every game. So we're again really lucky to have these two pairing. They're working really well together, and obviously I do then see Eza coming back in to be just again on the right hand side of this. Obviously he's been at the left, he's been in the sort of 10 role, but I do think he'll be there as well. So really do like Eza from that side of things. Zubi's very aggressive like Timber, which I like. Yeah, I know, completely agree. He's like a little pit bull, just wins the ball back. But when you've seen sort of Timber and the other day, we're sort of flicking around sort of three or four players and keeping the ball, it's just unreal. But Zubi, yeah, super aggressive, great player. And I do think come the end of the season, he'll be one of our players of the season for sure. He's unbelievable. So, but yeah, really, really like him. But yeah, Eze in the 10, we in agreement with that. I see him coming back. He had a bit of a more of a rest kind of midweek, come on, played a few minutes, but didn't get a full match. But it's good that we're rotating. I think Arteta is learning. We've got to rotate, and he's 3-4 years on now, he's got it well, but he's got the trust in the players that he's got on the bench to be able to rotate as well, which is a huge thing. So which is really, really positive. Next, we have these pair. I mean, Trossard for me been playing really well. He's been a great player. Obviously, it's always been him and Martinelli, obviously rotating. I kind of like. The point of view from Trossard, starting being a bit more aggressive. Midweek he had a goal in the second half, 35 seconds with that cross, pinpoint to Marino. We'll have some more of that. That'd be great. But he has been playing really well, and it's sort of that consistency on the left is nice to see. And obviously we've got players returning, so it'll be interesting to see if he keeps that position. But Martinelli's a good option when he's back fit off the bench for speed. Obviously he's had that little injury as well, so I'll have to see what happens there. A couple of comments here. Obviously, Richard from work. Will Isaac outscore Gyökeres? So we've got a little bet on this at work, and absolutely, Richard. Gyökeres is already pretty outscored Isaac. How many goals has Isaac got so far? Just out of interest, mate. Let me know. And then Josh Eze, a bit quiet, but will grow as he settles in. Yeah, I think he's still finding his feet, he's still learning the system. And I think I mean, the goal he scored against Crystal Palace Day was like, jumping karate sort of kick. It was unbelievable. Up for goal of the month as well, that one. I don't know if it's been announced, but what a great goal. And I do feel, give it time. And I think you've got Odegaard to come back. Will he be pushed out to the left? It'll be interesting, but he's a good player because he can play in several different positions. I always thought, would they put him where Marina was, kind of false nine as well? I thought might be a good option. So it'll be interesting to see what happens there. But Saka, obviously, he's definitely finding form again. Obviously, he had a penalty midweek, scored it no problem. But he has been a lot sharper. Obviously, he's had a little injury at the start of the season, but he's been getting better and better as time's gone on. And was he the first player to score 4 consecutive goals away in the Champions League? Which is another record broken there. So we're again really lucky. So Saka is a star boy as always. But then in the middle, obviously with the 2 goals midweek, who else is it going to be? Our centre midfielder playing up front, scoring goals for fun. I mean, both goals he scored, really good quality. The flick, the volley from Trossard in, just settled everyone down midweek, and then the final goal, the little kind of head flick, which, he's good in the air. He's one of the reasons I think we bought him at the time, because of his aerial presence again. But what he's doing kind of for Spain, for Arsenal, I rate him a lot, and he's a really good player as an option to come off the bench or fill in like this. He's a real team player, so we're extremely lucky to have him. And again, he just loves playing, so he'll do what he's told. He's very much a squad player. But yeah, bring on Mourinho. But I can see him scoring a couple of goals. But there is that little worry, the little concern. You've got Sunderland and you've got Xhaka. And he has been an amazing signing, I think, for a team like Sunderland, who's come up from the Championship, and he's got the experience. And I mean, he's spoken really highly about Arteta this week, because obviously back in 2019, if you remember back then, he was booed off the field by the supporters, and he ripped his armband off, shirt off, all that kind of stuff, and there was kind of almost no way back for him. But I think Arteta at the time then took him under his wing, and kind of, I know, he was like a phoenix, he's reborn really under Arteta, and he said how much he kind of owes, his kind of rest of his career to that time that Arteta gave him. So interesting, Richard. Would I take Xhaka back? We got rid of him for that reason. It was an age thing. He's obviously an older player now. I think he's a great player. I really loved him, and no one wanted him to leave at the time when he went and then done the invincible season over in Germany. But I like him as a player and as a person, in fairness. But I think we've moved past it, But I think for a team like a Sunderland, I think he's phenomenal. When you've got the experience, he is running that team on the pitch. And I do think he's a solid player. And I think it'll be an interesting game. But he's one I'm tempted to put a £1 cheeky bet on him scoring against us, just for the irony of it. So we'll sort that out in the morning, Rich. But from that side of things, this is the 11. This is what we're kind of looking at for tomorrow. And I think we'll be safe. I'm pretty confident that we will score 2. I think we'll keep a clean sheet, but I think it's going to be a big game. Now, let's see how we go on that side of things. But now, my fellow colleague Richard King in the chat, he's a Liverpool supporter. How do you feel Sunday's going to go, Rich? Because this is going to be an interesting one. I don't know which way it would go. Liverpool, Man City. I said this before, but the Man City are Haaland away, getting an injury from imploding. And I think when they had the Rodri injury last year and they just dropped off, for them for several games for a long time until they found their kind of feet. Liverpool have been, had their moment. They've had their little drop off, but seem to be coming back. So it'll be really interesting to see what Liverpool and Man City do. But Man City's got the edge. They're at home, which is always an advantage. And it's always a tough game. So it's going to be really interesting to see how that goes. I would love a draw as an Arsenal fan. Drop 2 points each. That'd be great. That's all we can wish for. Got another question here from Josh. Let's bring it up. For as much as I've enjoyed seeing Sunderland and Xhaka, I think we'll teach them a lesson. Agreed. I think they've... what's interesting, a lot of these clubs we seem to be playing are unbeaten at home or haven't been beaten at home. It's their fortress. Then we've got to beat them. Slavia Prague during the week, same thing, and when we've gone and demolished them 3-0. And they went for it for about 10, 15 minutes, maybe 15, 20 at a max, where it wasn't unsettling at all, but they were just going for it. It was their cup final, it felt like. And I was never really worried, just they come out with it. But as soon as we kind of got the penalty, it settled down. And we just need one goal, to kind of settle things. Space opens up. Then we can play our kind of game. Defensively, we're so confident at the moment defensively that we can absorb that pressure, take it on. And there's always that throughout the game. You've got those points where, teams go for it. They need a little respite. They'll sit back a little bit and then we can come on. But because we've got the set piece, which everyone hates, we've got that option there from corners. We had like 7 corners midweek, one after the other. And that's one where we then got the penalty. So it only takes, one opportunity. We're that good at these kind of dead ball situations. But also we scored 2 goals from open play. And I'm not worried at all about this. And I think, Josh, you're right, mate. Sunderland will get pretty taught a lesson. And I think it will be just a realisation of, we are that good a team, and a team that's just come up are not going to come and kind of hit a team like us with the record we've got at the moment and the clean sheets that we're kind of keeping. We've been impressive all round. So all in all, confident, looking forward to Sunday even more so. If we win, especially, we'll all be watching that game and all be cheering on a draw. But otherwise, I will have a quick look, actually. I think covered all the fixtures throughout the weekend. Let's just double check because I haven't got all the Sunday ones in front of me. So the other games which are interesting. So Aston Villa, Bournemouth on Sunday, Brentford, Newcastle. Aston Villa and Bournemouth, that's going to be, I think, a tough game. Bournemouth have been playing extremely well. Villa are playing in form. It could be a draw. Brentford, Newcastle. Brentford, obviously a fresh Newcastle played during the week at home. They could steal a little cheeky win. Obviously, they lost to West Ham last week. Crystal Palace, I think, will do Brighton. I do think they'll do them. Nottingham Forest, Leeds draw or Leeds win. I don't think Forest is still back up to scratch yet. But and then yeah, that's it. And then we've got the international break, which is always rubbish. Never look forward to the international break. But obviously, what we'll do, then I'll create a bit more content, lives and stuff. We'll talk about kind of news and stuff like that. But I'm looking forward to players coming back from injury. I think that's the big thing. We've got so many players to come back. Anyone specific in the chat that you're looking forward to seeing? Any combinations that we haven't seen yet or haven't had the opportunity because of injuries? It'll be interesting to see where we pop up. And obviously, Madueke is coming back. You've got Havertz coming back as well. Obviously, Odegaard's a big one. Gabriel Jesus, as Josh mentioned earlier in the chat, and that's going to be some really interesting combinations. But we've got a lot of players to return, and then we're going to be kind of who to pick, who to rotate. But we've got a lot of games coming up. Every 3 days is a game, so we need to be able to rotate, and we are getting better at it for sure. But I'm really looking forward to tomorrow, 5:30, the Stadium of Light. We're going to go smash up Sunderland. 2-0 for me, the prediction. What's your predictions? If you're watching this not live, obviously you can drop it in the comments as well. And obviously, please remember, if you are watching this for the first time, then please come and subscribe and follow for next time. But I appreciate it. And I appreciate everyone jumping on and raising questions and stuff. It's been always a lot of fun to have some interaction. So I do really appreciate it. Sort of friends that I know and anyone jumping in the chat box as well. One final 3-0 to the Arsenal. Interesting, Josh. So what I've sort of predicted, or in a couple of videos, I've just said it's 2-0 all year. That's all I'm predicting. 2-0. I don't want the boring Arsenal 1-0. This is the 2.0 of Arsenal. I think it's going to be the 2-0. That's my predictions for the rest of the year. But 3-0, I would absolutely take it all day long. Clean sheet there, Josh. 3 goals. Who's your goal scorers? Do we think of Mourinho? We've got Saka, Trossard, Eze. I mean, there's all these guys can pop up. Obviously, Zubamendi, when he popped up that random game and just smashed home 2 goals, got goal of the month. That would be fantastic as well. But we've got kind of threats from all over the pitch. Anyone could score. I mean, Calafiori likes to go as well. He likes to pop up and smash one from outside the box. So we've got many options of where the goals can come from. But I do think Mourinho, he just can't stop scoring when he plays up front. So I think he'll get one for my 2-0 prediction. Then I think I'm going to go Saka and Mourinho still. I think similar to midweek. But we'll go from there. But I appreciate you guys jumping on. When we're back after the international break, what we'll definitely be doing is more bits like this. And I kind of want to bring kind of just the daily news, what's come up, what's happened. And then if there's questions of people on, it'll be great to interact. Obviously, if you've got a camera, you're over 18, you want to come and have a chat, I'm also up for having a conversation. We are looking at kind of, this is a type of podcast eventually we want to do. Just the All About Arsenal podcast is something that I'd love to do. So the more guests, the more interaction we have. It might be a case I get all their friends that are Arsenal supporters and just say, jump on. It's really simple. If you've got a mobile phone, that's all you need. It's really, really simple now. But I appreciate you. Thanks, Josh. Thanks, Richard, for jumping on the chat. Richard King. Let's have a look. This is what Liverpool supporter thinks will happen. I mean, it's worth a punt, mate, isn't it? It's worth a quid, and see kind of what happens there. But I'll probably put a bet on why not, because you just never know. The odds are going to be pretty good, I imagine. But appreciate you guys, and obviously 25 minutes in, I better go and see the wife and have an evening. But again, thanks everyone, and obviously as always, Come on, you Gunners.